So I wanted to record this quick follow-up video to my gay marriage video because of a couple of the comments that I did address through a comment, but I just wanted to add this that in a truly democratic country, you need every civilian, every citizen of that country with the freedom of making their own choices and being respected for following the same rules. And they need freedom of speech. They need freedom of religion. They need to be treated equally and given promised the equal freedoms. And if you don't have that, then you don't really have a true democracy because you have certain people with more power than others and with more ability within that system. The second thing I wanted to bring up was that homophobia is a relic of colonialism. In most of the ex-colonial nations, homophobia was non-existent in most of those countries, just like property and several other concepts weren't existent in the same way as Europeans. And Europeans conquering and colonizing those nations brought those concepts to those people. So I think that it's interesting that there is so much rampant homophobia in the developing countries or the countries that were colonialized by different powers at different points, while the developing or the developed, sorry, the developed first world nations have moved on to a point where they've come into some sort of acceptance or respectfulness of being a homosexual or a trans person or one of these myriads of gender and sexual identities. But I find it interesting that we're mad still at the world where we left them where they were and indicated that that's where we wanted them to be, and now we're just like, well, why can't you catch up? And a lot of it has to do with how colonialism invaded cultures and transplanted their own culture within other native cultures. And the Bible, I take that as a cultural survival mechanism. Basically, it's a cultural adaptation that was finally written down, sort of like a Hammurabi code of how to live and how to interact with groups, a basic handbook for people. And I do think that that needs to be evaluated with the change in times. And the last point that I want to make, I think is really, really important, is that, like, in this world where we have tragedies and war and famine and all sorts of horrible, awful things happening, like, who is anyone to deny somebody love and happiness? You know, I'm not saying that allowing gay marriage like guarantees a gay couple like love and happiness, but I'm saying if that's their expression of that commitment to each other, like, who are we to deny them that? It's just not our place. I mean, you can't tell whether somebody's in love or not. I mean, hell, straight divorce rate is skyrocketing. It's like 50 or 60%. So maybe we should be screening those people and making sure they're really ready to be committed because it doesn't apparently seem like they are. Whereas with gay people, like, because it's so difficult, those who really want to make the commitment will jump through those hoops in a lot of avenues. And I'm not saying that's every gay person. My point is that I think that love is something that needs to be respected and represented and allowed to everybody, and allowed to have that title of, this is my partner, my official partner, that is recognized by the state, at least, if not by your religion. And I would assume that it would be recognized by your religion, whether it's a specific denomination or whether it's yourself practicing your religion or whether it's an entire congregation because they are accepting of that. So those are my final thoughts on gay marriage, and I'll try to do another video soon. Peace.